Can we welcome up next, final poet of this section before our headliner, Stilly, please.
Thank you very much.
Vicky's going to share his screen with us as well.
I am. There you go. Hopefully you can all see that. This poem comes with a bit of a trigger warning in that it's all based in a pub, and I'm really missing the pub. It's a pub called the Leaky Kegs. The pub landlord thumbed through his dictionary to improve his work elocution. His eyes began gleaming at alcohol's meaning when he read that it is a solution. When in walked a fella, an old Yorkshire lad, with his cap all down damp from the rain. But guided by radar, he soon found the bar, and he studied those beers name by name. "What's it to be?" asked the landlord at last. "We've many a fine ale to taste. We've Wheatley's best bitter, or Cantley Brain Splitter, or lager if you've money to waste. We've got Carpenter's Thumb, or we've Bawtry Blackout, and our special is Geoffrey's Desire. The old bloke expressed," sorry, I buggered up the thing. "The old bloke expressed 3 pints of best," and went off to sit by the fire. The landlord poured out the 3 pints with skill and served them within easy reach, but fairly near shook as the old fella took a long lingering sip out of each. "Forgive my intrusion," the landlord he coughed. "I don't want to ruin your sesh. But drinkers like I'm like 1 pint at a time. It's better when drunken up fresh." The old boy looked wistfully into the flames. "Well, I have 2 brothers, you see. We haven't shared beers for nigh 50 years, but they're clear in my memory. My eldest one now lives in Rio, Brazil, where he worked his days growing beans. His time he now spends with family and friends. I can see him now in my dreams. My next eldest brother, he settled in Oz. A fisherman once, but retired. He lives out his days simply watching the waves, with family and friends at his side. But when we last met all them decades ago, a promise we made with each other, to each take 3 beers every day, every year, and sup them to remember each brother. Here's 1 swig for Ashley, the next one for Bradley, and then a 3rd quaff to me sen. Let's drink to our health and our spiritual wealth. In this life, we won't meet again." The landlord returned to his side of the bar, wiped away a stray tear with his tie, and on through the years, he pulled those 3 beers with a low, reverential sigh. Old Stan came a regular to the Leaky Kegs, and the locals, they all knew his name. His 3-pint ritual became quite habitual and was never questioned again. Here's 1 pint for Ashley, the next one for Bradley, and then a 3rd quaff to me sen. Let's drink to our health and our spiritual wealth. In this life, we won't meet again. Until late one nithering November night, the pub full and rowdy with jest, Stan went through the crowd and muttered aloud the words, "Landlord, please, 2 pints of best." The words stopped the clack of the snooker balls. No fruit machine sounded or hi-fi. The quizzers stopped quizzing, the lager stopped fizzing, and suddenly no one had Wi-Fi. There's 1 swig for Ashley, the next one for Bradley, and then a 3rd quaff to me sen. Let's drink to our health and our spiritual wealth. In this life, we won't meet again. The landlord poured 1 ale and then poured the next, and waiting for their heads to settle, looked all around him at the unsettled heads frowning, and wondered if he had the mettle. "Here's your pint, Stanley," said the landlord at last, "and can I just say this 1 word? Although maybe it's rude on your grief to intrude, to ignore it would be quite absurd. Those we love in our hearts will always live on. Memories don't fade when a loved one's gone. Heartbeats and thoughts are the same lengths apart, as long as their memory lives on in your heart." Old Stan looked confused for a moment, and then it dawned on him what they were thinking. "Don't worry yourselves. There's not been no death. It's me. I've given up drinking." That night in the pub went on until day, and though beer might damage your memory, let's drink to our health and our spiritual wealth, just in case beer might damage your memory. Thank you very much.
That was great, Stilly. You had me worried there for a minute, but it all turned out well in the end. That was brilliant. Something different for us. Thanks so much for sharing that.